Hey, what's up, guys? It's Renaldo here. So, breaking news, the United States' State Department came out with their annual review of human rights practices when it comes to various countries. Now, needless to say, they did one on South Africa, and it is quite damning. Once again, mainstream media is caught with their pants down in the way that they are defending South Africa when there's actual evidence provided by the United States to show that what mainstream media is talking about in South Africa and defending the South African government is absolutely wrong. Now, I'm not going to go and read all of it, but I'm going to read the summary and some highlights, and I'll post the link to the entire report in the description below. Right, so this is as you can see, the US State Department's website. And then, it talks about the 2024 country report on human rights practices in South Africa. Now, I just want to focus on the summary. The human rights situation in South Africa significantly worsened during the year with the signing of the expropriation bill on December the 20th. South Africa took a substantially worrying step towards land expropriation of Afrikaners and further abuses against racial minorities in the country. Significant human rights issues included credible reports of arbitrary or unlawful killings, arbitrary arrest or detention, and the repression of racial minorities. The government did not take credible steps to investigate, prosecute, and punish officials who committed human rights abuses, including inflammatory racial rhetoric against Afrikaners and other racial minorities, or violence against racial minorities. Now, if you go through the sections, it talks about every specific thing that you can think of. Freedom of the press. It goes on then to talk about worker rights. So in every single aspect, they tell you whether or not things have gotten better, things have gotten worse, whether the human rights aspect in South Africa is adhered to, and it just goes on and on. But in essence, it is a damning picture of what is happening in South Africa and how human rights in South Africa is slowly deteriorating year after year. Now, the South African government came out and also rejected what was said, and I'll also post their article link in the description below. But in essence, what they are coming back with, I mean, they're condemning it, saying that the UN and everybody else is agreeing with them. But then they counter argument to a 21-page document from the US State Department is 3 points. That's right. Here with information which was distorted by the US report. So out of 21 pages is giving information, they come back with 3 points. False data distort complex picture of South Africa, and then they use fact check and they use pbs.org to counter their argument. They also then use BBC. I mean, really, they're using the BBC as a source. And then they are using their own website, presidential response on July unrests. So in essence, the response by the government is 3 points where if you look at what is happening here, you can see this is a very long document that in detail talks about what is going on in South Africa. You can just look at, for instance, how they focus on torture and cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. They talk about the expropriation bill over here. They talk about the Expropriation Act of 2024. They go into detail with regards to the SAPS VIP protection unit that were suspended after they were filmed in July 23 attacking civilians on the N1 highway. So this is the amount of detail that the United States have. Because we all remember, the deputy president's VIP unit that went and attacked those people. So it goes on and it goes into so much detail that it is, and you can go and read all of this. I mean, this is all things that we know and that the media proclaim that the United States don't know, because according to the media, all this information was, received by the United States through alternative media sources. But we can all see that they did their own research. So ultimately what it boils down to is that the State Department of the United States has condemned South Africa for once again allowing the erosion of human rights in this country. Now, you just need to look at the fact that people can sing songs about killing minorities in this country. You can look at on the stages of genocide, how far along we are to actually experiencing a genocide. Now, a lot of people have now said there is no white genocide, and nobody has said that there's a white genocide. But, you have to alert the world to when you are seeing a concerning trend, and that is why those stages of genocide is there to show people, this is moving in the wrong direction. And South Africa is already on stage 8 out of 10 when it comes to a potential genocide that can happen in this country. So it is the Expropriation Act. It's the way that the police or the politicians disregard minority rights in this country. It's how the country in essence treats its citizens. And the mainstream media, specifically News 24, Daily Maverick, and ENCA have consistently condemned anything that has to do with challenging the government's view on what they proclaim to not be human right violations or to, go after people's rights in South Africa. You can clearly see that there is an erosion of human rights in South Africa. And you just need to look at the hate speech bills and all of the things that they are passing to try and limit what people can say and how critical they can be of the government. You just have to remember when the civil rights organizations went overseas, they were in essence accused of treason by the government. And remember, there was this alleged theory that there was going to be a criminal case opened against these civil rights organizations. So ultimately, that led to this report by the United States, and mainstream media has gone above and beyond to try and defend the GNU government, the ANC, and specific politicians that's been fingered in various reports by the United States for human rights violations. So ultimately, the chicken has come home to roost. And this is now where we are, where once again, mainstream media is caught within a lie because consistently mainstream media and even the ANC has told us that, the Americans don't know what they're talking about. The USA is just coming after us because of us launching the ICJ case. No, this is clear evidence that has been gathered by the intelligence agencies of the United States. Because remember, alternative media was accused of spreading misinformation and disinformation, and that Donald Trump got his information from Elon Musk and from X. Those were the allegations that were made by mainstream media. Well, here, once again, is a report that you can see was formulated not by alternative media or Elon Musk or people on X. It was formulated by the State Department based on factual information that they actually researched themselves and came to a conclusion with. So ultimately, South Africa, mainstream media, and the government was caught in a lie once again. Now, will you see mainstream media reporting on this? Of course not, because it will show them for who exactly what they are, the mouthpiece of the ANC and the mouthpiece of the government. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button. Please be sure to subscribe. And if you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a member. You can do so by clicking the join button below. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Till later, cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. You don't even know me. Every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say, I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre.